Hi guys, and welcome to another awesome video. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of limiting your financial help to others. I think one of the first things to remember is to look after yourself first. Now, that I'm not meaning to be selfish when I say that, but what I am saying is if you cannot survive, if you cannot put gas in your tank to get to work, if you cannot eat a very basic diet, if you can't keep the lights turned on, then don't give to other people. It's as simple as that. If you're struggling and you're struggling, don't put yourself through pain and misery because other people need help. But I'm not saying be selfish, okay? Because pain and misery does not mean that you cannot buy the latest iPhone, or you can't buy the latest computer, or buy a boat, or buy a car, or something like that. Pain and misery means that you cannot afford the essentials. There was a time in my life, probably about 10 years ago now, 9 years ago, something like that, where I could not afford the essentials. I could not afford to have my AC turned on in Florida, and not using air conditioning in Florida basically sucks. You're going to be walking around in your underwear all day. I couldn't afford to turn the lights on at night because that would use power. I couldn't afford to turn my hot water heater on. My hot water heater was off all week, and I would turn it on for a few hours a week to take a shower or run dishes, and I'll turn it back off again. That life that I was in at that moment completely sucked. I remember one night I was lying in bed freezing because I couldn't afford a blanket. And yeah, it does get cold in Florida. And I couldn't afford a blanket, and I was lying there physically in my bed shaking. And I remember that moment. You'll always remember the hard moments, and I remember that moment. And it was tough. It was tough. And if you're in that situation, I feel for you. I feel what you're going through. And if you're also in that situation, look after yourself. Don't worry about other people. Other people will work it out somehow eventually, just like you will work it out somehow eventually. But when you have the ability to help, when you have all your basics covered, like the lights are turned on, you can eat for the next week, you have the gas to get to work, all the basic requirements of life are covered, then giving the extra you have to other people that deserve it is important. There are some people out there that don't deserve it. There are some people out there who are going to make up emergencies, shall we say, that are not real emergencies. They're just trying to scam money out of you, basically. We all know who those are, and I think, fortunately, you may have a few of those in your family. So ask yourself why a few times, look at the situation and discover if this is a real emergency. Yeah, sure. If it's some kind of medical emergency, if someone's in hospital and they need a few $1,000 for a surgery or something like that, if it's something genuine like that, then absolutely every single time, find a way to give them money. It doesn't matter if you have to be late on the cell phone bill or something like that, because you know what? The cell phone company is not going to arrange a mob come to your front door and hang you up by the nearest tree if you're late in your bill. It's as simple as that. Prioritize things. And in a situation where someone needs emergency help, you can delay a few bills. As long as you're not going to be shut in dark by the electric company, I think you're going to be okay with that one. So delay things and prioritize things as you need to on a case-by-case basis. But if you have a friend who's bitching about not having the latest iPhone or not having the latest computer or something, that is not an emergency, my friend. It's not an emergency at all. Emergencies are things like medical things, the car breaking down, which is kind of marginal because they can probably borrow a car or rent a car or something. But the genuine life emergencies, be there for your friends and be there for your family. But things that aren't life emergencies, I hate to be hard, but they have to work it out for themselves. That is, unless you want to give it to the other person as a gift, shall we say. Now I'm going to go into this a little bit here. Never, ever, 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 ever in a million years loan money to friends and family. It is a golden rule up there. Never do that, because what happens? They will not be your friends for very long. You will have some bad feeling at some point or another because of this kind of covert contract, we call it, you create with your friend. So you say, hey, I'm gonna give you this money, to help you out. But in your mind, you're saying, hey, I want payback for this, Buster. But you're not telling them that. And by doing that, you've created basically this covert contract. You're expecting payback. The other person doesn't know the payback's going to come. And they're treating it as a gift. You're not treating it really as a gift. You're treating it as, okay, you're going to get the money back, or you're going to get some form of favor in return back from that person. That's called a covert contract, and those are kind of shady and bad, shall we say, because they are going to ruin your friendship, or they're going to ruin your family. End of story. It's kind of like the I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of situation. You don't want to get into that. So don't loan money to friends and family ever. Give them. It's a season of giving, we all know. Give them the gift. If they need something and it's nice to have, it's not an essential, give it as a gift. Give them money as a gift. If they want a new phone or something, give them the money as a gift, and don't expect anything in return. If you're expecting things in return for that, then don't give it, because you have basically the wrong mindset at that point. So it's perfectly fine to give money, but give it as a gift. Don't give it as a loan. If you want a loan, go to the bank. I think also you need to limit your trust and transparency to people, especially the transparency part, okay? Nobody needs to know how much you're making. Nobody needs to know what your Christmas bonus is, or what stocks you have, or what's in your savings account, or any of that BS. You're talking about that stuff to show off and make yourself look good and make yourself look like master of the universe or something, but nobody needs to know that at all. Don't keep that stuff transparent. Keep that stuff hidden as much as possible. Don't hide it from your spouse, obviously, that's going to get you in trouble, but hide it from friends and family. Your friends and family do not need to know how much you make, or any of that other work junk, or how much you have in your 401k or anything like that, because it will probably be used against you and you don't know it, because you will then become the go-to guy whenever they have a problem. You name it, the car breaks down, they're late on a bill, whatever's going on in their drama in their life, shall we say, you'll become the go-to guy. Maybe you don't want to be the go-to guy, because you'll be stuck with that label forever. Maybe you change jobs, maybe you get less money 1 year, whatever's going on, you'll still be labeled the go-to guy, because they think, you're sitting there like, Donald Trump with tons of money, but really you don't have that much, especially if you're giving it away to other people. You may not have that much to play around with, and that's fine, especially if you give it to other people, but bear in mind, they don't need to know everything you have. Also, limit trust. I would say trust but verify goes a long way in life. So if someone tells you something, trust that it's legit, but also kind of verify that a little bit. Like, say, hey, if they need money for this, that, and the other, accept the fact they need some money from you. They need to borrow some money from you, or have a gift of money from you, shall we say? But also kind of verify that as well. And if you find out, hey, that money was used for something else, if you find maybe 6 months later you find out that you gave your family member money so the kids could have a doctor's appointment or something, and you find out a few months later they went out and they blew it on an expensive date somewhere and the kid never went to the doctor, then that automatically puts them on the naughty list, basically, and appropriate for this time of year. But hey, that's what happens. They're on the naughty list, and then just don't. You can still help them out now and again, but don't help them out as much, shall we say, because they just turned around and secretly, quietly, kind of stabbed you in the back somehow. It's not financially, and it's not worth dealing with those kind of people because they're not trustworthy. Always assume people are trustworthy until they do something like that. But when they do something like that, and when you find out about it, then just you know they're probably going to do it again. So steer clear of those guys. Now there is an old saying, and you probably heard it when you get on the plane: always put on your oxygen mask before helping others. And the same applies in life. If you cannot help yourself in a disaster, you're not going to be much help to other people. It's as simple as that. So keep your job. Simple as that. Keep your income coming. Make sure your bills are paid. Put yourself first in those respects. There's no point in making your friends' car payments and stuff and having your car towed away, unless you want it towed away. But most people don't. Put yourself first, and then on top of that, put your bills in order. So the ones that are gonna hurt and sting you right away go at the top of the list. The ones that are less important, like credit card bills and stuff like that, you put at the bottom of the list. And then friends and family can jump above things like credit card bills if they need help. So it's about prioritizing things financially, really, and look after your immediate priorities first. And your immediate priorities are the essentials of life. Food, shelter, electricity. Simple as that. Water, as well. They are not things like making sure your cell phone bill is paid and stuff like that, because you know what? I hate to break it to you, you can probably go a couple of weeks without a cell phone and nothing bad's going to happen to you. Simple as that. And you can still call 911 if you lose service, remember that, so you're good. Anyway, hope you've liked this video. Click down there, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back soon.